Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Doc and Queenie Facebook Live. Good afternoon, Queenie.
Good afternoon, Doc. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. What do you think?
Yes.
I have
Yes.
been watching all of your posts, my friend. Your flowers are gorgeous. Your veggies and all the things that you grow are gorgeous. It is so fun to see your success. And I mean that because your success is one of those that actually shows, and it's very exciting to watch. I hope you feel fulfilled.
I'm almost there. I still have more to plant.
Yeah. Well, I don't think you'll never not have more to plant, but I'm super excited for you.
Thank you. I appreciate it. It is fulfilling to watch, but I have one little pest that I haven't figured out that I posted yesterday on Facebook.
One little pest that
A
you.
pest.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm thinking it's a bug. I'm not exactly sure. Or maybe it's a bunny. Who knows? They ate all of the leaves off my marigold plant. So I just have this little stalk with a marigold on top. And they got to plant number 2, same garden bed. So, that's my challenge of figuring things out.
That sounds like quite a challenge in the first place. And of course, my brain instantly goes to cameras.
Yeah,
So I can watch things like that with cameras, and all of a sudden I see a blue jay attack my topiaries because they want to take the stuff off my topiaries to go build a nest. And
that you're right there.
Yeah, I know, seriously. And then I watch something else, and a hornet is building a whatever those things are called.
Oh.
And so then I'm going, you're not doing a mud dauber in my location. So I'm like, I'm out of here. So I watch things with my cameras, and then I prevent accordingly. So it's interesting. Squirrels do that. Okay, that's interesting.
Is that from Debbie Dub? Is that?
Let's find out. Oh my gosh. All right, let's find out.
Come on, technology.
Right, I was going to say.
Come on, technology.
Figure that out. Yeah.
Let's see.
Come on, technology.
Oh.
I was going to say.
Of course, it's not showing on my.
Okay, let's see. But that's why I was going to say, as soon as we take a look at all these things, you find out, and I have found this too with different friends. There we go. Yeah. As soon as we have found it out with different friends, what works for me, what works for you, kind of thing, that has been a great fit. Can you help me with this? And it really does turn out to be a fun way to spread the wealth, so to speak. How do you do this with the eating the leaves thing? And if the squirrels are the ones that eat the leaves, how are you going to get rid of squirrels? I can't even imagine. Hey, Karen, how are you? Hi.
So I'm going to flip real fast here.
Uh-huh.
Speaking of Miss Karen, I'm going to give you a hint as to what today is. Let's see if you can see these. There we go.
Under your chin. Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is little sockies. So wear your favorite socks day.
You're close.
Okay.
Try again.
Wear Doc's favorite socks day.
Those are Doc's favorite socks in wintertime. You'll never catch me wearing those in summer.
What is today? Karen,
it is National No Socks Day.
Oh, National No Socks Day. All right.
And thank you to Karen Hagens. I have.
Oh my gosh!
The National Day 2023 calendar. So now we can be up to date without having to A, try and remember, and B, trying to find it.
Yeah. Too many A's, B's, and C's in there for me.
I don't know what C is, but I thought I would take this opportunity and let's look at the week. Let's see what kind of national days we have for this week. What do you think, Queenie?
Okay. Of that. Today, by the way, is May 8th, Monday. So let's see. All right, let's hear Tuesday.
Tuesday is Butterscotch Brownie Day.
I can go there.
Wednesday, the 10th, is Shrimp Day.
Oh, I can totally go there. Okay.
Thursday, the 11th, is Eat What You Want Day. I kind of have that day every day. The 12th, which is Friday, is Odometer Day. So what's your odometer say, Queenie?
Well, the bigger answer to that topic is I took pictures every time something hits a milestone, and I drove. I'm trying to think exactly what it is. I drove how miles in 3 years, and I think it was I know it is 9,000 miles in 3 years. So I watched
Wow.
my odometer intentionally, and so every time I hit another thousand mark on it, I took a picture. And then then the next time when it's 100 or 1,000, then I take another picture. So I was trying to keep track. May 11th of 2020 was my first, and April of 2023 was my next, and there was a $9,000 variance. So I drove 9,000 miles in 3 years for real.
That's incredible.
And you probably drive 9,000 miles in 1 week, don't you?
Sometimes it used to be that way. Not as much so anymore. No, I used to put when I was in case management, I was all over the county, and I used to put 30,000 miles on my car a year.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
So yeah, but no, all I know is I had a new engine put in. Gee, I wonder why.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh my
and
gosh. Sorry for laughing. Yeah. Okay.
no, actually, there was a recall, so we lucked out.
Okay.
But they put it in right before the 100,000 mile mark, which was the end of the warranty. So thank you God. But I have 68,000 miles since, I want to say 2 years. I guess maybe 3. So
Wow. All right. Yeah. But mine, everything I have been doing for 3 years has been virtual. So for me, it has been a testimonial to the increased unbelievable network, traffic, business, water workshops, more and more people coming on board that want to do this as a business. It's been phenomenal for me. And so driving around all the chambers and all the stuff I did all the time, I look back on that and it was wonderful. And I wouldn't trade it actually, because that's definitely how I got my start. But National Odometer Day, I didn't know that was a thing.
so yes, National Odometer Day, and then Saturday is Frog Jumping Day,
Frog Jumping Day. All right.
and Sunday is Chicken Dance Day. So maybe you can do the chicken dance on Doc and Queenie Facebook page for all.
Well, actually, just wait until you see what I'm going to do on that day. I'm writing myself a note, so there you go.
Are the Bunny 5 going to be showing up?
The Bunny 5 are going to be chickens. So yes,
The Chicken 5. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm kind of scared, but I'll just roll with it.
Absolutely. I'm making myself a note as we speak. All right. Good job, Doc. And good job, Karen, for offering that dynamic gift.
Thank you for the calendar. It's great. It's got pictures too.
Yeah.
So.
That's the best news of all. I love stuff with pictures. That is great.
So what's new in your neck of the woods, Queenie? How is Happy Neighborhood Project and LinkedIn posting parties and let's see, meeting after meeting after meeting. So yeah. I hear.
Well, and that's the best news of all. CWEN, which stands for Christian Women Entrepreneur Network, actually met on Saturday. And it's the first Saturday of the month now. It used to be the first and third. And it's based out of Modesto, California. The leader is Rebecca Garcia. And I got to meet her accidentally, finding about networking online during March of 2020, all that stuff. And so that has been a 3-year relationship. So this is a cool networking story. I go to CWIN almost every single time because I love it. And Rebecca's a great leader, and Christian Women Entrepreneur Network, it's kind of like you already have a common denominator. So it's a very cool group. So I get on there, and Debbie Dubb is on there often. And Debbie was there this past Saturday. And all of a sudden, when I popped on, Rebecca is talking to another lady and said, I wonder if you know Kathy Weaver. So I just sat back and listened for a second, and we hadn't known each other. The lady lives at 151st and Black Bob. I live at 131st and Flum. And I'm doing the math on that going, you've got to be kidding me. We go all the way to Modesto, California for Rebecca's CWIN community, and we live not even 5 miles apart. And so I just thought that was the coolest thing ever. Networking brings us together from all different places. Now, I've got friends in Nigeria. I've got friends in Kenya. I've got friends in Australia and New Zealand and Tanzania and Dubai and Ireland. I just saw a gentleman from Ireland today, and I go all the way to Modesto, California to meet a lady that lives 5 miles away.
That's pretty cool. And speaking of another local rock star, actually, she was on
Woo!
Yes Live. Terry Ann Potter's in the house.
All right, that's fantastic. Barry Ann Potter and Terry Ann Porter are the same people. When Terry was mentioning that before, it was kind of like, oh my gosh, it's kind of like once you get your brand out there, you've got to go, oh yeah, I need to fix that, or I need to update it, or I need to whatever. We got to do, for those of you watching with us live or on the replay, we got to do a Facebook Live with Terry Ann Porter on Friday. And I am telling you what, I have watched the video over and over again, actually, Doc. And thank you for those who have shared it, actually. And certainly Terry Ann has shared it as well. It's the coolest thing in the world for me to be able to promote a local superstar who has done so much. Doc, I'm so thrilled that you got Terry Ann secured. It was great.
I enjoyed it too. And she is a phenomenal gal. I mean, she's an author, she's a Toastmaster, which my husband's a Toastmaster, so that is fun. And she's won awards.
Yep.
And then, she's a life coach. So go to terryannporter.com, I do believe it is.
Absolutely it is.
And her page is fantastic. But yeah, it was a joy to have her on.
Absolutely. We've got another Doc and Queenie Guest Live coming up at the end of this month. And so if anybody has not been on in about 6 months or so.
Yeah, we do it about it if you haven't been on in 6 months. Yeah. So
be sure and get on the schedule, because getting 2 of us scheduled at the same time is a challenge. Getting 3 of us is like, holy moly. So definitely we can get you on a schedule pretty soon, but we would love to support and certainly edify our superstars in our community. So Terry Ann, thank you again for being a guest on Doc and Queenie Guest Live. It was so much fun.
Yes. So guess what time it is now, Queenie?
Oh, it cannot be over already.
No, it's time to spin the wheels so we can see what
I was gonna because we need. Come on, you cannot be serious.
We need content to talk about,
That is always the funniest thing to me. What do you guys want to talk about? And you know what? What do we talk about on Doc and Queenie Guest Live? Anything you want. All right, Doc, can you see the wheel?
Yes, I can.
I'm going to shuffle 7 times because I know that's your number. 5, 6, 7. And let's see what we get today on the Doc and Queenie wheel. We love, love, love being able to talk about the coolest stuff ever. Oh my gosh, seriously? Oh, no, that's a good one. Okay. All right. I thought it was going to go to posting parties. Branding it is.
You go first.
Well, actually, I have found if you are not clear what you do, you perhaps could struggle with branding. As soon as you are clear what you do, your branding will be easier. And so it's a very big deal for me. And one of the original brandings I learned is when I went to LinkedIn to secure to actually claim my URL. I was Kathy Weaver 7654321 or something like that. And so as soon as I wanted to be my own name, I backed it up to Kathy Weaver. Of course, that was taken. There's 95 million zillion trillion of us. And so I had to come up with Kathy Weaver something. Kathy Weaver Kangen Water, well, that kind of kicks my books out. Kathy Weaver something else networking, that kind of kicks my water out. So that's how Kathy Weaver KC was born. And so for me, the branding piece was huge. And LinkedIn was one of the probably the top impetus for me to brand myself as Kathy Weaver KC, and the rest, as they say, really is history. What about you, Doc?
Well, I have a story, a perfect story about about how it can be confusing with branding.
Okay.
And I'm always learning, so this was a learning experience for me. So for several years before I started the gardening business, I was doing my naturopathy.
Okay.
And Dr. Laura, Dr. Laura, I would always introduce myself, which I still kind of do. But I noticed over the past year, actually, that if I lead with the Dr. Laura, people get confused. They forget that the gardening is first. That, the Dr. Laura will always be there, but they get confused with, I've had people, try and give me referrals, and they're bouncing off of the naturopathy.
I believe that.
Instead of the gardening piece. So it's that a good example of mixing things if you're not clear. So I'm still Dr. Laura, but I try not to lead with that. And then I've also learned with my branding, what do you do? I'm a gardening educator. That's all I say. Short but sweet. It's pretty, everybody knows hopefully what gardening is and education, but like you with the Kathy Weaver KC, I'm kitchen garden expert. And part of that branding piece, of course, is like we always talk, cross-pollination, hashtags. I always hashtag kitchen garden expert. Occasionally I won't, like if I do a post on my own Facebook page, occasionally I won't. But a majority of the time I do. And that branding is so big. And here's another example. I had a gal that I worked with last week from Neenah, Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, for a consultation. And I asked her, how did you find me? She said, I did a search and kitchen garden expert popped up first. And I'm like, it works. But, but it's that brand piece. So those are my 2 cents.
I love your 2 cents. And quite frankly, it's worth $1 million, because you just now did in fact, I just had a posting party earlier this morning, and I was actually emphasizing the power statement. And that to me is exactly as you just said. I am a garden educator. I am a gardening educator. I am an educator of garden. Right there it is. And that is your power statement. What do you do? And then I've heard you before, Doc, when you incorporate that piece of gardening education into It's All About Food. And as soon as you transfer it into It's All About Food, that definitely for me incorporates the naturopathy, because now you're able to say, eating this sweet potato increases your bioflavonoids, which increases your antioxidants, which increases your carotenoids, which increases your this, which helps your that, and fixes your something. All of those things that you talk about, the gardening piece, as far as the organic properties that you are so good at, all of that together equals It's All About Food. And I can see completely where I'm a garden educator completely identifies what you do. And then you can go off into the magic facets of all the pieces that you're able to help people with. I think that's genius. Honestly, great job.
Thank you. And I'm going to flip it back on you. Search on Google for posting party. You come up. Kathy Weaver KC comes up for posting party. So yeah, it's, a lot of people don't want the monotonous, always hashtag, always, but it's like, we're in the land of virtual now. I mean, I don't think it's going to go away anytime soon. And who knows what it's going to evolve into next. But, virtual, everything is video based, everything is virtual, Zoom, et cetera, et cetera. And if you're not clear in your branding, you're not consistent with your hashtags that tie into your branding, I don't see how there can be success, or like we talk about, expanding that reach.
That's a perfect point too. And just like you mentioned, Google, I was having a lot of people. I'm super excited about the posting parties, because I get to do about 15 a month now, depending upon different groups. It's been a blast. Many of them, several of them are locked down depending upon the organization. But when I get to do the posting parties, I was finding a lot of people asking when they saw the advertising, what is a posting party? That's when I thought, Catherine, what is a posting party? And so I did a YouTube video on what is a posting party. So now when people say, what is a posting party? Because I was getting that question consistently. What is a garden educator? What is a naturopath? What is an heirloom tomato? All of the things like that people are asking, I do videos, not on your topic, of course, but I do videos on the what is a stuff. And now when I always suggest to people that they do a Google search. And Google is still one of the primary search engines, by the way. There's lots of different ones. I get that. And if you're on a different plane other than Google search, that's fine. But whatever your platform is that you do as far as searching, please search for yourself, your brand on there. And just like Doc was mentioning earlier, what your brand is such a huge piece of that, because if you can't find you, neither can your clients. And so what is a posting party? What is networking? Kathy Weaver KC, Kathy Weaver Kangen Water, Kathy Weaver Midwest, whatever that looks like, make sure you can find yourself, because if you can't, how can your clients find you? And Doc, for your lady in Wisconsin to find you all the way to Kansas City, quite frankly, and I love the fact that you said, how did you find me? I did a search and Kitchen Garden Expert popped up. Doesn't that give you warm fuzzies almost from the standpoint that all your SEO is working?
Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. It was a confirmation, because I'll get it here and there. But this one was probably the furthest away. I get a lot of local, but this was the furthest away.
Mm-hmm.
And the funny thing is, I went to school maybe 10 miles away from where she lives. So I know exactly what the weather is like up there.
That is so cool.
Has the snow melted yet? Yeah.
Oh my gosh, you said that S word. Ew.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think I was telling you one time up in Wisconsin, I'm sidetracking, Wisconsin, northern Wisconsin, a lot of times it does not warm up until June. And actually, when I was looking up her growing zone, I was reminiscing on that, because I'm like, their last frost date, they said between May 1st and May 30th. And that is true. It could be any time. Yeah, it's a little bit colder than Kansas City.
Holy moly. Yeah. But see, once again, we can't escape where we've come from. Right. And sometimes some of the things that we do now, we've learned the hard way. And probably the first time you went out networking in public, Chamber of Commerce, maybe you had your name badge on the wrong side. Maybe you didn't wear an identifier or a conversation starter or any of the things that we would talk about as far as networking in person. It's the same drill for virtual. It's still about the relationship building piece and the brand. So when people see you pop onto a Zoom call, what is your identifier? So all of a sudden it's your Doc and Queenie background, or what? It's your gardening educator. What does that look like? And so whatever the topic is, people see you that way. And it really is a very, very cool opportunity for branding. And so I think this was actually a great subject to come up today, because I do notice, Doc, that some people are still struggling is a bit of a hard word, but challenged when it comes to what is my brand. And so Terry Ann Porter, to bring her up again, this is another example. When we had her don her tiara, that is the coolest thing for me ever, because that and if you don't know the story yet, please watch the video, because Terry Ann actually explains how that tiara came to be. And I put your crown on, put that crown on and wear it proudly. And how Terry Ann got that crown is quite a story in itself. And it's the branding piece and the Toastmaster and the awards and the life coach and the authorship and the knitting and crocheting and the Bible study and the Proverbs 31. All of those things brand you together. And so when somebody's searching for any of those steps, if you have SEO'd, that's a verb, if you have SEO'd correctly or effectively, people are going to find you that way. I'm just so proud of her, I could explode.
Well, and she also has a Facebook Monday afternoon. Because I had to emphasize that, because I'm like, I usually see it like later in the day. And I was like, yep. I'm not sure if that's morning or afternoon.
Yeah.
But afternoon, which is really good. It's just her thoughts for the day, which it's, in the virtual thing, and Facebook and all of these platforms, it's great. Also, like you've taught too, it's the push the button, just do it. And she has a lot of times, a lot of it is just what's off the top of her head. And it's always beneficial. And like we've talked, I look back at some of my old videos and I just laugh. I'm like, oh my gosh, but I don't change them. I might put some of those in a new video, but it shows where you've come from, and it still has information or whatever we're trying to share with the public or whoever comes up, with members, subscribers, whatever. And that's kind of what we're in an information age, of course.
Yes.
That's what people want, is information.
And they want it yesterday. And that's so true. And Terry Ann, I need to start adding a hashtag, wear your tiara. That is true. The rest of the story is wear your tiara, perhaps, but then tiara, hashtag tiara, and then hashtag my tiara. And so there's a lot of different variances within each of those variables. And it really does get back to the same topic. I can talk about organic. I can talk about chemical-free living, chemical-free lifestyle, work from home, all the different hashtags and things like that, depending upon how often you use them, in what context, for your branding, for your company. I have so many choices with Kangen water, but most of the time I hashtag water because that's what people are looking for. Sometimes I hashtag best water. It just depends, but most of the time I hashtag water because there are so many topics and posts that come up because of water. And I want to help people with the topic.
So I have a question for you, Queenie, and I know you just mentioned some of them, but what are your top 10 hashtags that you use?
Water for sure. Yeah. Water, alkaline, work from home, end plastic waste, sustainability, green, chemical-free lifestyle. That is such a biggie for me. And definitely networking, and sometimes virtual, and many times YouTuber.
Cool. That's cool.
I don't think you could possibly limit yourself to 10. Do you have about 300?
I've got about 3,000. Yeah. And it changes, like you, but I also occasionally, now I'm breaking into Pinterest here in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
So they have a trends piece where you can see what the trends are in your field. So I'm kind of pulling from some of that, but I generally do gardening, kitchen garden expert, garden inspiration, gardening life, garden to table. It's all about food. Garden KC, because I just like the sound of that. It's funny. It's not necessarily popular, but I still do it. Garden Doc 7, which is not a necessarily popular, but that attaches to who I am.
Yes.
What else? Vegetable gardening, raised bed gardening. We could go on and on and on, but those are probably the main ones that I do.
And think about also, you never know what people are looking for. So I always say, what are you looking for? Which means when you do a Google search, how to this or how to that, or what is a posting party, that's as soon as I was hearing all of these things consistently, that's when my brain went, that's what my video title needs to be. And that's why when you type in a Google search, what is a posting party? Voila. And so posting party is a very big hashtag for me because I've been able to do posting parties globally now, which is so fun. Being able to do 2 of them in India is still one of the highlights of my posting party career, because a lot of those folks had never heard the term. And as soon as the light bulb came on, it was like, OMG. And so now several people over there are doing posting parties for the increased traffic and searchability piece, and certainly helping their LinkedIn profile. But I think about free advertising, Doc, and the different places that we can do free advertising. Yep. And do you have a YouTube channel? Do you put shorts on there? Do you have your audio video message on LinkedIn? All of your different free advertising places that we can go. And I just want to help as many people as possible. And I think the posting parties are a great avenue for that.
Well, and of course, I have to give a shout out to YouTube Shorts, because, of course, that's my next area of experimentation. I did a short 2 days ago on planting tomatoes. And the funny part, it's one of those, it's like we always talk about, like, it doesn't make sense. I was in the full sun, could barely see what I was doing, but I'm like, well, I'll just throw this on there and see what happens. 623 views so far on 15 seconds. I didn't make everybody sick by moving around too much, but there's a few little spots where, you can tell I can't see. but
Looking
but
directly into the sun while you're doing your stuff might be a little tricky.
yeah, I'm just like, well, it's hard with one hand, and of course, I'm too lazy to walk in to get my tripod.
Yeah.
You would think I would get my tripod first, but but yeah, it's just it's incredible, and because of that type of thing, and then like we say, cross pollinating across platforms, I'm averaging between 40 and 80 hits on my website a week. So there is a generation piece, yeah. So
And
just
think
wanted
about that also. You have talked about gardening for homeschoolers, all of your different hashtags that you've been using. No wonder you're doing so great because you have stretched your brand into, instead of just like a tunnel vision focus, you have stretched your brand in a very large way. So now homeschoolers want to teach gardening. Who do you think pops up? And I feel that your reach is expanding because your knowledge of everything social media has expanded also. I really do think it's very cool to see that, Doc, and I'm not kidding. And I'm thrilled for you to get a client all the way in Wisconsin. And I love the fact that you've already got connections there. I love that you're being able to help the homeschool circuit. All of the, and plus a lot of times, and by the way, for any of you listening live or on the replay, please consider if you are able to, if your company is a good fit for anything elder care, that is another opportunity when sometimes people that are in elder care facilities, they still want to garden. They even still want to network. Many times they want to do all things social media. Quite frankly, hello, that is not a end of life conversation. That is a next step journey conversation. And so it's been very fun for me actually to see people in their 70s and 80s want to do posting parties. And it really has been a very cool thing. I guess I never thought of that, but that helps you keep your network bigger, bigger, bigger. And so I just thought, elder care networking posting party. Wow. And it really has been a cool thing to see people in their 70s and 80s actually want to do posting parties. Hello, I'm in.
Well, and yeah, both our topics, I really think, both our businesses can go anywhere, and I think the
Absolutely.
majority of people's businesses can go anywhere. It's
Absolutely.
just you've got to think outside the box, whatever that box is that you're in. I mean, that's really because I'm somebody that just is going to try anything anyways,
Yeah.
obviously.
Like,
Maybe I'm not a
let's
good.
build a greenhouse. Let's do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I think I'll build a greenhouse. Oh dear. But I did plant some tomatoes in it this past weekend. So there are plants in the greenhouse, even though it's not finished yet.
Yeah, there, that's okay. There you go.
Yeah, because I had nowhere else to put the tomatoes. Because, yeah. But it's just getting outside that box, and you just never know. You just never know. That's what I love about networking. You just never know. You never know who you're going to meet. You're never going to know how you might wind up collaborating with somebody. Um, and of course, networking is all about connections and relationships. And yeah, it's a fun time. It's definitely a fun time.
Yes, and I was looking, of course, at the calendar, and July 9th, no, July 26th of 2019 is when Doc and Queenie met the first time at a networking event. And then Doc and Queenie was actually born a year later. So this year, our Doc and Queenie celebration, Doc and Queenie Day, the 3rd, is August 7th. And that is going to be a celebration, 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 because think about where we've all come from these past 3 years for sure. But it's all about networking. And just like you said, Doc, with collaboration and the collaboration piece, the next thing you know, somebody says, how about this or how about that? And then you get a national day of calendar from Karen, and I get a whoop whoop, gorgeous, fabulous, amazing card from Debbie Dubb. And because I hit my 600 mark on my YouTube channel, it's all about collaboration and certainly networking, but how to interact and cross-pollinate with each other, and certainly the edification piece. And just like Doc and Queenie's Live, how can we edify someone in our community? And Doc and Queenie Guest Live with YouTube channels and Facebook Live and all that stuff really has been a great platform for that. So I think branding was a perfect subject for today.
Well, and we had fun too. You got to say, the Bunny Five might be coming out.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah.
So
Yes.
our dancing skills, anyways.
Hey, we've been practicing. What can I say? We've been practicing.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So, well, guess what, Queenie? Now it's
Oh my
time.
gosh. All right.
I
See, I
know.
knew you were going to get me here sooner or later.
So, thank you everyone for joining us this afternoon on Doc and Queenie Facebook Live at
Hi, Noon.
I always got to keep her on her toes.
Yeah.
If you would like to reach out to Queenie, you can find her all over social media or her website, which is at Kathy Weaver, KC, it's Monday for Doc, .com. Or for myself, Doc, at Kitchen Garden Expert, all over social media. And my website is kitchengardenexpert.com. Have a fantastic and blessed week. We hope to see you back here on Monday at
Hi, Noon.
or we would love to have you be on our guest live. We love our guest spotlights. We just love learning about everybody, and we want to promote you. So if you haven't been on in a while, or you just want to take the plunge and break outside of that box, just reach out to one of us, and we'll get you on the schedule. So have a great one, and we will talk to everybody later. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye
very
bye.
much for watching. Bye, Doc.
Bye, Queenie.